MKUltra was far worse than anyone admitted. This theory claims the 2026 declassified files reveal experiments extending far beyond LSD and electroshock therapy. The CIA tested aerosolized psychochemicals on entire towns, dosing water supplies, ventilation systems, and public transit networks. Subjects included children in orphanages and patients in psychiatric wards across 3 countries. Declassified documents confirm at least 149 sub-projects operated across universities, military bases, and foreign black sites. Former agents claim the program never ended but was absorbed into classified behavioral research units. Test subjects were selected based on vulnerability, not consent. Medical records were falsified to conceal deaths and permanent brain damage. The 2026 release includes autopsy reports previously sealed by court order. MKUltra, the theory argues, was not a rogue experiment but institutional policy. The CIA covered up the JFK assassination. This theory argues the 2026 document release confirms agency involvement in suppressing critical evidence after Dallas. Multiple CIA officers had direct contact with Lee Harvey Oswald in the months before November 1963. Internal cables show surveillance of Oswald was flagged, then deliberately buried by counterintelligence staff. Declassified documents reveal a memo ordering the destruction of Oswald's Mexico City files just 2 days after the shooting. Witnesses who contradicted the single-bullet narrative were discredited through coordinated media campaigns. Autopsy photographs were altered, and chain of custody records falsified. The Warren Commission received filtered intelligence, not raw files. Even the CIA's own Inspector General admitted the agency withheld material from congressional investigators. The theory frames the cover-up as larger than the crime itself. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to start posting a lot here. Thanks. Anyways, the Epstein files name intelligence assets. This theory claims the 2026 release of sealed court documents identifies key figures in Jeffrey Epstein's network as intelligence assets. Epstein operated a blackmail apparatus using hidden cameras and compromised locations across New York, Paris, and the Caribbean. The files reveal payments routed through shell companies linked to foreign intelligence services. Prominent names in finance, politics, and technology appear throughout the documents. Former agents claim Epstein's operation functioned like a classic honey trap, collecting leverage on powerful targets for decades. Victims' testimonies describe encounters recorded without consent at multiple properties. Law enforcement investigations were shut down at least 4 times before his arrest. Even diplomatic immunity was invoked to shield certain individuals. The theory paints Epstein not as a predator but a managed asset. Operation Artichoke targeted American citizens. This theory says the 2026 files expose Artichoke as a domestic mass drugging program that predated MKUltra. CIA chemists developed odorless compounds for distribution through municipal water systems, hospital IV lines, and cafeteria food. Testing occurred in at least 12 American cities between 1951 and 1963. Subjects ranged from military personnel to homeless populations and prison inmates. Declassified documents confirm dosing was calibrated to induce confusion, compliance, and memory loss. Several subjects died during experiments at black sites on American soil. Whistleblowers point out that Artichoke protocols were later adopted by military interrogation units overseas. Records of civilian casualties were classified under national security exemptions. The theory argues Artichoke was the prototype for every covert drugging program that followed. The CIA controlled American newsrooms. This theory argues 2026 files confirm Operation Mockingbird placed agency assets inside major newspapers, television networks, and wire services. Over 400 journalists received direct payments or operational guidance from Langley between 1950 and 1979. Editors at flagship publications were briefed on which stories to amplify, bury, or reshape. Declassified documents reveal talking points distributed before major foreign policy events, coups, and military interventions. Foreign correspondents doubled as intelligence collectors in conflict zones. The program shaped public opinion on Vietnam, Cuba, and the Cold War for an entire generation. Reporters who investigated CIA activities found their sources discredited and careers threatened. Even Pulitzer-winning journalists appear on Mockingbird payroll lists. The theory frames the free press of that era as a managed narrative. Operation Northwoods proposed attacking Americans. This theory says declassified Pentagon documents reveal a 1962 plan to stage terrorist attacks on U.S. soil and blame Cuba to justify invasion. Proposals included bombing Miami buildings, sinking refugee boats, and hijacking commercial aircraft. Military planners drafted fake casualty lists and prepared media statements in advance. The plan reached the Joint Chiefs of Staff and received unanimous approval. President Kennedy rejected Northwoods and removed its primary architect from command. Declassified documents confirmed the plan included provisions for real civilian casualties, not simulated ones. The 2026 release adds appendices showing the plan was adapted for other target nations in later decades. The theory argues Northwoods proves governments will plan violence against their own citizens. Project Stargate used psychics for intelligence. This theory claims 2026 files reveal the program produced actionable data that influenced real military operations across the Cold War. Remote viewers at Fort Meade described interiors of Soviet facilities with verified accuracy. The program ran for over 20 years with a budget hidden inside classified defense appropriations. Stargate operatives identified hostage locations, weapons sites, and submarine positions through extrasensory perception protocols. Intelligence gathered was cross-referenced with satellite imagery and signals intelligence. Declassified documents confirm at least 7 operations where Stargate data preceded conventional confirmation. The program was publicly shut down in 1995, but 2026 files reference successor projects under new code names. Even skeptical analysts admitted certain sessions produced results beyond statistical chance. The theory frames Stargate not as pseudoscience, but unconventional tradecraft. Havana Syndrome was a directed energy weapon. This theory claims the 2026 Intelligence Review confirms a foreign state deployed microwave weapons against American diplomats and spies. Symptoms included severe headaches, vertigo, and brain tissue damage consistent with directed radio frequency exposure. Incidents were reported in Havana, Guangzhou, Vienna, and Washington. Intelligence analysts traced the attacks to a military unit operating under Russian GRU command. The weapon, compact enough to fit inside a vehicle, emits focused microwave pulses through walls. Affected personnel describe a sudden piercing sound, followed by intense pressure inside the skull. Medical imaging reveals white matter tract damage in over 40 victims. Even children of diplomats stationed at affected posts show neurological abnormalities. The theory frames Havana Syndrome as an act of war disguised as a medical mystery. The CIA suppressed cancer research for decades. This theory argues that 2026 declassified files reveal the agency intervened to block pharmaceutical breakthroughs that threatened defense sector profits. Internal memos show CIA operatives meeting with pharmaceutical executives, defense contractors, and Congressional Health Committee members to delay clinical trials. At least 3 promising immunotherapy treatments were shelved after agency pressure on funding bodies. Researchers who refused to comply faced career destruction, grant revocation, and surveillance. Declassified documents confirm the agency maintained a health intelligence division tracking global medical advances since 1962. One suppressed treatment showed a 73% remission rate in early trials. Patents were acquired through front companies and locked in classified vaults. The theory argues the CIA treated cancer cures as strategic assets, not public health priorities. The CIA funded operations through drug trafficking. This theory claims 2026 disclosures confirm the agency facilitated cocaine and heroin shipments to finance covert wars across 3 continents. During the 1980s, CIA-affiliated pilots flew weapons to Central American militias and returned with cargo holds full of cocaine. The crack epidemic, according to declassified logistics records, was partly supplied through agency-protected chains. Profits funded operations in Nicaragua, Afghanistan, and Southeast Asia without congressional appropriation. Former agents claim drug enforcement investigations were routinely blocked when they intersected agency operations. Customs officials received stand-down orders for specific flights and shipping containers. The drugs moved through Panama, Honduras, and military airfields in Arkansas, too. The theory argues covert warfare was bankrolled by American addiction. The Pentagon ran a secret UFO retrieval program. This theory claims 2026 disclosures confirm the military recovered non-human craft from multiple crash sites and stored them at classified facilities. Materials recovered display properties inconsistent with known manufacturing, including isotopic ratios not found on Earth. The program operated under legacy defense contractors who reverse-engineered recovered technology for military applications. Whistleblowers point out that congressional oversight committees were deliberately denied access to program details. Pilots who reported encounters faced career repercussions, psychiatric evaluations, and security clearance reviews. Declassified documents reveal the program budget was hidden inside larger defense appropriations. Even recovered biologics were transferred to military medical facilities for classified analysis. The theory frames the UFO cover-up as the longest-running classification in American history. Operation Gladio armed secret armies across Europe. This theory claims 2026 NATO files confirm the CIA trained and equipped clandestine paramilitary networks in every Western European nation during the Cold War. These stay-behind armies were designed to resist Soviet invasion, but targeted domestic political movements instead. Gladio operatives carried out bombings in Italy, Belgium, and Turkey that were blamed on leftist groups to shift public opinion. Declassified documents reveal weapons caches hidden in forests, churches, and government buildings across the continent. The networks operated outside democratic oversight with funding routed through Swiss bank accounts. Former agents claim Gladio cells remain partially active in at least 3 NATO states. Even elected officials were kept unaware of operations in their own countries. The theory argues Gladio turned European democracy into a managed performance. COINTELPRO never ended. This theory claims 2026 files show the FBI's domestic disruption program continued under new names after its supposed termination in 1971. Targets shifted from civil rights leaders to environmental activists, anti-war organizers, and privacy advocates. Agents infiltrated protest movements, planted informants, and manufactured criminal charges against organizers. Declassified documents confirm parallel construction was used to disguise surveillance origins in criminal cases. Social media accounts operated by federal agents amplified division within targeted groups. The same tactics used against Martin Luther King Jr. were adapted for modern organizers like financial sabotage and reputational attacks. Whistleblowers point out that budget allocations for domestic disruption increased every year since 2001. The theory argues COINTELPRO became permanent infrastructure. The NSA records every phone call in America. This theory claims 2026 disclosures confirm the agency stores the full audio of all domestic telephone calls, not just metadata. Program operates under a secret court order renewed annually without public oversight. Data flows through fiber optic splitters installed at telecommunications hubs in New York, San Francisco, and Dallas. Storage facilities in Utah hold exabytes of intercepted communications. Former agents claim analysts can retrieve any call made by any American within the past 20 years. Voice recognition software cross-references calls with watch lists, financial records, and travel patterns. The system operates outside congressional review through classified legal interpretations. Even allied foreign leaders had their personal calls archived too. The theory argues bulk collection turned the Constitution into a suggestion. The CIA ran a global assassination program. This theory argues 2026 files confirm a standing kill list operated by the Special Activities Division from 1954 through at least 2004. Targets included foreign leaders, scientists, and journalists, deemed threats to American interests. Methods ranged from poisoned cigars and contaminated toothpaste to car accidents staged to appear random. Declassified documents confirm operations in the Congo, Chile, Vietnam, and Iran. The 2026 release includes after-action reports with details previously redacted. Assassination teams operated under presidential authority, conveyed through verbal orders, leaving no paper trail. The program ran parallel to public diplomacy, with ambassadors unaware of kill teams in their host countries. The theory argues targeted killing was standard foreign policy, not an exception to it. The CIA censored Epstein media coverage. This theory argues 2026 files reveal coordinated efforts between intelligence agencies and media executives to limit reporting on Jeffrey Epstein's network. Editors at major outlets received calls from officials requesting stories be killed or delayed. Investigative journalists had sources intimidated through surveillance, legal threats, and workplace pressure. Declassified documents confirm at least 2 networks shelved completed documentaries after agency intervention. Reporters who pursued the story found their communications monitored and digital activity tracked. The same suppression playbook used during Mockingbird was applied to control Epstein coverage for over a decade. Former agents claim the suppression protected intelligence equities, not individuals. The theory argues the media blackout was itself an intelligence operation. The CIA torture program was larger than reported. This theory argues 2026 files reveal black sites in countries never previously acknowledged, expanding the known network to 14 nations. Detainees faced waterboarding, sleep deprivation, and confinement boxes in Poland, Romania, Thailand, and locations still redacted. Medical professionals monitored sessions to keep subjects alive. Interrogators received bonuses based on sessions conducted. Declassified documents confirm intelligence from torture was fabricated by detainees telling interrogators what they wanted to hear. The program cost over $300 million and produced 0 unique, actionable intelligence. Contractors with no background in interrogation designed the protocols and profited from their continuation. The theory argues the torture program was not about gathering information, but about institutional revenge. Intelligence agencies infiltrated social media. This theory claims 2026 disclosures confirm the NSA and CIA embedded personnel inside major technology companies to access user data without warrants. Engineers with security clearances were hired into senior positions at platforms handling billions of messages daily. Backdoors were built into encryption protocols under the guise of compliance features. Declassified documents revealed data sharing agreements that bypassed FISA court oversight entirely. User location data, private messages, and browsing histories flowed to intelligence fusion centers in real time. The 2026 files show content moderation policies at multiple platforms were shaped by agency recommendations. Former agents claim the program made traditional wiretapping obsolete. The theory argues social media was designed as a surveillance architecture from the start. Jeffrey Epstein's death was orchestrated. This theory claims 2026 prison records reveal critical inconsistencies, contradicting the official suicide finding. Both guards assigned to Epstein's unit were reassigned from normal posts that night. Surveillance cameras covering the cell block malfunctioned during the exact window of death. The medical examiner noted fractures more consistent with strangulation than hanging. Declassified documents confirm Epstein's legal team was negotiating a cooperation agreement with federal prosecutors at the time. Forensic analysis of bedsheet fibers contradicts the official ligature reconstruction. Epstein had told attorneys he feared for his life in preceding weeks. Cell door logs show an unrecorded entry during the overnight shift. The theory frames Epstein's death as a silencing operation, not a suicide. Every major whistleblower was right. This theory argues the 2026 declassification wave validates claims made by Edward Snowden, Chelsea Manning, and dozens of lesser-known sources across 5 decades. Programs they exposed, dismissed as paranoid exaggeration, now appear in official documents with matching operational details. Snowden's claims about bulk domestic collection are confirmed word for word in newly released NSA audits. Manning's disclosures about civilian casualties align with Pentagon assessments never shared with the public. Declassified documents confirm coordinated campaigns to discredit whistleblowers through media manipulation, prosecution, and exile. Each whistleblower paid with imprisonment,